I want to shout out our very first member of the Calm Collective's exclusive membership, Keith Merritt. You can check him out at @Keith Merritt on YouTube. Keith is officially part of our Adventurers Collective, entrepreneurs, creators, and explorers. Our Facebook group is free and open for adventurers ready to connect. And for the leaders building brands, our website membership is a selective space designed for serious entrepreneurs. So, Keith, welcome to the journey. If you're ready to explore with us, start at the Calm Collective today.
Potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Raquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.
Don't call me motherfucking trying to talk to me, find out some shit, talk about some gossip. Don't call me with no bad news. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't calling me to uplift me, if you ain't calling me to I'm not 911. I'm not in the mood. Don't call me unless there's some love on the other end of the phone. Matter of fact, I'm working. I don't want nobody to call me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do them. And
Refresh, Relax, Renew, episode 24. Oh my gosh, we just completed recording episode 24, and it was testy, I would say. But I still believe it was empowering, inspiring. That's the hope anyway. And as we're going to this episode, of course, today we unboxed this drill set, drill kit. I'm looking forward to using it. Yeah. And we had some interesting conversations in our financial funding talk. And then, allegedly, we talk about fathers today, Yeah. So I just want to say thank you so much for your support. And I invite you, please join the Calm Collective. Let's come together and support each other. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, but if we come together and support each other, then we can both find peace in success. Because it's not successful if you're not at peace. It's not a success if you're not at peace. You know what I mean? So you want to know when you find success, you also have peace. You're not pressured and stressed out and all that. You know what I mean? As an entrepreneur. So collaborate and find spaces and environments where you can thrive with grace and favor and peace. All right. So thank you so much for supporting Refresh, Relax, Renew podcast. Let's get into this episode. Let's go. I love to open new packages. I want to deliver the latest information on the top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me. I'm Coach Raquel, and it is a passion project for me. So I am so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome to the show. It's another episode of Refresh, Relax, Renew. As a matter of fact, we are at episode 24. Isn't that amazing? It is wonderful. And I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for returning. And thank you for being with us every episode. Oh my goodness, how has it been for you? It is my hope that you've been having a fantastic time. It is my hope that you've been empowered, inspired, and that you're thriving in your life. It is my hope that today you are having a fantastic day, a phenomenal day. All right. So coming up in today's show, of course, we have Unbox Solutions with me. And today we're unboxing a drill toolkit. It's right here. And we're exploring how little upgrades can refresh your space and your mindset. Also, for Free Money Wednesday segment, your weekly dose of opportunities, grants, and financial gems designed to help you access the resources you deserve. We're going to be going into some interesting conversations for that one. All right. So stay tuned for that. And because for this month, I'm not really necessarily talking about the grant listing. You can go on my website to see what's available. But I'm kind of diving into fund developments and mindset around grant funding and financing your business, right? Yeah. And then our final segment, of course, allegedly. And for allegedly, we're looking at strong families equals smaller government equal better communities. And that is that concept is from a quote that I got from the late Charlie Kirk. That was before he stated it before. As you must have been watching the news, so you know what's going on. He was reportedly assassinated. So before his assassination, he stated, "With strong families comes smaller government for a better country. Put dads back into the home." All right, put dads back into families. So so this week's allegedly is inspired by that, and we'll pair his words with statistics on single motherhood and open up an honest conversation or monologue, if you want, on what lessons Black dads can learn and why the strength of fatherhood is too important for us to ignore it. All right, so tune in, relax, and renew your spirit one episode at a time. Please stay. It is my hope that you'll watch to the end. Okay, and participate. Please comment, leave a comment. Let me know, what your thoughts are and what you think about the topic, the discussion, and all of that. All right. So yes, and there's something that's very close to my heart that I want to introduce to you. Well, I'll just share it with them. So I would like to introduce to you. How do I say this? So, you know how when you're online or when you have a movement, there's a name for the movement. There's a name for the group or the following or the people who engage with you. Because I'm not into that fans thing. But for you who subscribed with me to my channels, you who follow my podcast and whatever, I've derived a name that I want to call us as we continue on this journey, and it's called the Calm Collective. So the Calm Collective is a space I've created for adventurers, and by adventurers I mean entrepreneurs, creators, and explorers who want to grow with clarity, purpose, and a legacy. You can join our free Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/MCM Calm Collective. Stay tuned for exclusive YouTube memberships coming soon across all three of my channels. And if you're a leader or entrepreneur building an established brand, you can apply for our selective membership at mycoachministry.com. It's all about community support and building together without burnout. So if you've been looking for a safe space to grow, connect, and thrive, join us at the Calm Collective. So that's the name I've come up to. I've derived to that we can call ourselves, all of you who are on this journey with me. And I call it the Calm Collective because I want it to be a place where there is peace. I want it to be a place where growth is happening, but it's not tedious and it's not aggravating. Because when as an entrepreneur, there are certain things I wished I'd learned, there's no point in doing things alone and struggling and stressing, because in the end, where you're going is where you're going to get to. choose the best path. What is yours is yours. Nobody can take it. And the journey we take, or the path we take on our journey to achieve what is ours, it's by choice, but we can choose the path that is most favorable for us. Because what I've learned is trying to do it on my own, it's not going to make the arrival at my destination any sweeter. As a matter of fact, you will look back at your journey and say, why did I struggle so hard? When you really realize that when it's your time, and really it was all along, you weren't trying to create a path, you weren't trying to find something, you were going through the wait process. You were going through the wait process. You were going through the building of self process. You were going through the preparation process. And that is why it's so important to find your village. Find people who can support you on this journey. Yes, it's very, very important. It's something that I learned. And I would say I learned it the hard way after struggling on my own and stuff like that. And I realized doing this on my own doesn't make it any more special than if I did it with somebody else, because what is mine was going to be mine anyway. It was going to be mine anyway. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I also want to ask, how have you been? How has your day been? How is your week going? How is this year? How is 2025 for you? How has it been? It is my hope that you've been having a good run at it. It's my hope that you've been finding divine purpose. You've been finding grace. You've been finding mercy. You've been finding kindness. It is my hope that, the world, the universe has been kind to you, generous to you, favorable to you. It is my hope that you're intentional about putting yourself in spaces and in environments where you thrive and you're happy and people are there for you. Almost every day I'm on this thing where, like, sometimes I want to watch something or I want to check, and I will run to see what's happening, what's going on. And I'm so intentional about weeding out my environment. And by that, I mean being clear on what do I want to, what videos do I want to watch? What YouTube channels do I want to follow or subscribe to? What Facebook posts or timelines do I want to keep track of? I'm so intentional about it because I understand that the environment that I create for myself will either make the wait a great experience or a miserable one. You know what I mean? And as entrepreneurs, we have to feed ourselves with healthy content to strengthen our minds so that when abundance comes, that we have capacity, we've been building capacity to handle it. So we really have to be mindful and conscious and intentional about what content are we consuming, what are we listening to, because your world is what you see, which is why your world is different from mine. Because I don't necessarily see what you see. Even if I'm looking at the same thing that you're looking at, I won't see what you see. But I'm also very, very conscious. Like sometimes when I hear persons talk about certain things, it's not affecting me because I'm so intentional about what news I follow, what I'm doing. And that does not mean that I remain oblivious to what's happening around me. No, if I watch a news story and I hear it one time and I'm aware that that happens, I'm not listening to that repeat over and over and over. No, the things I repeat are the things that can help me in my business, the things that can help me in my life. I do not allow myself to go down the path of constant regurgitation of the same news story, the same thing, you know what I mean? And that does not mean that you can't listen to different perspectives on a story, but I'm saying be intentional about your choices when it comes to what content you're feeding your mind. Be intentional about it, because also I want to point out that one of the things that I remember earlier on I used to struggle with is listening to positive messages. I wouldn't say love, but I'd gotten into this news thing and hearing that headline kind of buzz news to the point where when I heard positive things, it's almost as though I wasn't interested. It's like it wasn't holding my interest. And when I recognized that, I had to change. I'm like, we can't do this. We have to invest time in listening to positive content and content that teaches me and empowers me for this journey I'm on, because I need my abundance and I don't want to miss it. And I don't want, because of my my bad content habits, my abundance become elusive, or I get it, I get to it, I achieve it, but I don't know how to keep it and maintain and sustain it, because the things I've been feeding myself have created negative habits in me, that when something good comes around, it's like gone, it's dispelled, it doesn't find me favorable the way I'm operating, because what I consume, my content diet will reflect through my conversations, how I handle issues, all of that. So I have to become very conscious about what I'm feeding my mind. So I say the same thing, I share the same thing with you. Just like your body weight, right? And just as your diet affects your body weight, so does your content diet affect your mindset, your capacity to do stuff, your knowledge base. So be mindful of what content you're consuming, and what content you become addicted to. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say. But it's been a pleasure being here with you. This month has been lovely. I tell you this, one of the things I find myself talking with myself about is it's okay to be at peace. I've been saying that to myself, like, it's okay to be at peace. It's okay to relax. It's okay to chill. It's okay not to be busy and in the hustle and bustle. Because I found that I had this challenge where it's like, if I'm not doing something that I think is productive or that I deem to be productive, it's like, I'm like, no, find something to do. And I find myself doing work that I'm not necessarily being paid for, and I don't necessarily have to do, but I'm only doing it because I feel like, no, you need to be doing something. You're watching this for too long. You're doing that. You're being idle for too long. Find something to do. It is. And so I had a conversation with myself, and I'm like, you've earned it. I'm like, Raquel, you have earned the right to be idle. You've earned it. Yes, you have taken care of all you need to take care of. As a matter of fact, you don't have a lot of free time. What are we talking about here? I'm like, girl, we don't have a lot of free time. So please and thank you, relax, chill. If you don't want to watch a movie because you feel like, because for me, sometimes that couch potato thing is in my head. And so if I find myself binge watching for too long, it bothers me. It like gets to me. I'm like, what are we doing here? You know? But I'm like, you don't have to binge watch something. You can read a book. And it's not that I didn't know those things, because I do have books and I love to read them, and I do read them. But I find myself becoming like, it's like I'm just on this work to the point where I'm exhausted. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Nobody asked you to do this. I'm expanding things that nobody asked me to expand. I'm doing stuff even for my clients. Like, I'm doing stuff for them that it's not necessarily my job to do. Sorry. It's not necessarily my job to do, but I also like to help my clients grow, you know what I mean, and advance and things like that. So I study what they're doing so that I can introduce new things to like their platforms and stuff like that. But I found myself going so hard that I had to be like, stop, put some brakes on this, my darling, because it became unhealthy when I started seeing it like, no, you've got to work. You have to do this. You're spending too much time doing nothing. That's when it got it became unhealthy to me, where it's like I was punishing myself for having a free hour. And I had to be like, no, nothing's going to run away. Take some time for yourself. I don't know if you struggle with that. You can let me know. I guess I just don't want to feel like I have too much free time, because once I have too much free time, I feel like, hold on, you're not doing enough. Why do you have so much free time? But it's okay to have free time, and to be honest, I really don't have as much of free time as I think I do, and that's why sometimes what I have to do, I have to go back and do an assessment of my work. As entrepreneurs, it's so important to do your SWOT analysis, do an assessment of what you're doing, because I don't know about you, but for me, if I am not able to see how much targets I've met and to see that I'm really putting in work, it can really put me in a depressive state where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I achieving? I'm not achieving anything. So I regulate myself. I don't have the mindset where someone should come supervise me or anything like that. I don't have that kind of mindset. I'm self-driven, really. I'm self-motivated, but I'm so motivated sometimes that I go overboard. So I have to be like, let's do an assessment. Let's see how many hours you work this week before we start saying you are spending too much time doing something recreational. So that is something that for me this month, I'm just sharing with you that that's one of the challenges I'm having. I was having this month, and I've actually put methods in place to mitigate that, because maintaining my mental wellness and as an entrepreneur is critical for me. It's a big deal, because I don't want to put myself back into a position where someone needs to tell me what to do or someone needs to tell me what to stop doing. I have to self-regulate. So I just wanted to share that with you. Anyway, it's a new day. We're doing new things, and I just want to wish you a wonderful journey as you journey down this entrepreneurship road. It is my hope and my prayer that it is being fulfilling so far, and I'm sure it will continue to be a fulfilling experience. So thank you so much. Now, usually at this time, I would read one of my prayers, but as it turns out, I do not have it with me. So this is what I'm going to do. I am actually going to read something special for you. To be fair, I wrote my book of poems. I have a book of poems coming out, and I wrote most of these poems. I wrote them when I was in college. That was between the years of, I graduated in 2004, I think, either 2004 or 2005. And 2005, and I started 2001, I believe. Yes, because when I went to college, I started out in business education, and then one of my friends said to me, "Why are you doing that?" Because I was doing assignments for people in communication, and then she said it to me like, "Why aren't you in communication?" And then I changed, so there was an extra year there. But I just want to share one of my poems from the book now. It's not fully designed yet. It's still in the process. I think I shared the name on Facebook, so I'll share the name with you. The name of my book of poems is Poetic Emotions, right? And it's coming real soon. It's almost finished. Now, I'm going to share one with you. I always like to show you what I'm reading. It is called If Love is True. If love is true, how can hate exist? What lies will we tell to make peace with this? Can love be true if hate still endures? Or would true love erase the need for hate at all? Can the soul that loves little Tommy hate old Tom, yet still in love remain strong? Can a heart that hates a black man teach children love, pure, untainted, holy, the kind the Bible commands? Where is the God we keep praising when we are busy hating? Is a balanced diet still worth having when served on a filthy plate? Can a vessel carry hate while in it love resides? Or is this love thing just make believe? Sorry, let me go that again. Can a vessel carry hate while in love it resides? Or is this love thing just make believe? I ask with wondering eyes. Thank you. So that's one of my poems coming that will be in my book. All right. Now we're going to go to our ASMR moments. All right. right.
Welcome to Kelly's Fitness Adventures. Discover your path to wellness. Hear your breath, movement, and healing align through ASMR fitness journeys. Join us on real-time walking meditations, feeling the earth beneath your feet. Experience sunrise strength training that nourishes both body and soul. Engage in waterfall breathwork journeys. Rejuvenate your spirit. All you need is a phone and an open heart. Let's connect. Come away with me. Inhale, exhale, just breathe. Visit kellysfitnessadventures.com. Hey, curious minds, ready to unbox your next big find? Every episode of Unbox Solutions with me dives deep into Amazon gems, smart hacks, and surprising solutions you might not know existed. From combat boots to kitchen gadgets, we unbox them all, up close, unfiltered, and just for you. Tag along as we refresh, relax, and renew your everyday routine, one product at a time. Catch new episodes every Tuesday on YouTube at My Coach Ministry. Hit subscribe, smash that bell, and never miss a reveal.
All right, it's now time for, thank you so much for staying with me so far. You've been watching Refresh, Relax, Renew podcast with me, Coach Raquel, and now it's time for us to go to our unboxing. So, unbox solutions with me, and today, let me share. Yes, so for today in our unboxing solutions with me, we're unboxing a drill toolkit, exploring how little upgrades can refresh your space and mindset. So today, what we're here we go. We're unboxing this right here. This right here. We're unboxing this right here, which is a it's a 1, 2, 3 piece pink household tool set with a 3.6V USB cordless electric drill, portable, lightweight, and stylish. Let's see if this pink set is more than just pretty packaging today. All right, so let's go. Okay. I forgot to get something to open the box. All right, so this works. All right. Right. Oh, sorry. Microphone. Sound of that. All right, here we go. Here and hold on. Hang on. I'm doing it the wrong way. Hold on. Oh yeah, this way. Interesting smell. Okay, so there we are. There you have it. There you have it. I just said, all right. Oh my goodness, is it the same way? Yes. I like it. Where did this come from? Okay. All right. This is our drill. Can't wait to use it. That's our unboxing for today. Our unboxing tip for today. Okay, so function first, check, right? You know what? Well, one of the things I've learned about unboxing is it's easy to get caught up in the packaging. And for me, I love to hear the popping sound. Really and truly, I have an unboxing vlog because I love the ASMR of it. I love to open things, unveil, unbox, unwrap. I love doing that kind of thing, and I love the sounds that I get from it. But one of the things I've learned is more important than the sound of things and the niceties of it is making sure that the product you buy or the item you buy that is actually it's functional, right? That it's work. It's easy to get caught up in the hype of pretty packaging and shiny new toys. But here's the evidence-based truth. A 2023 Consumer Technology Association study found that about 34% of product returns happen because the item didn't actually meet people's needs, not because it was broken. See? So here's the tip. Always do a function first check. Before we hype it, we test it. Does the drill actually drill? Does the gadget really power on? Does the tool do what the box promises? Those things are very, very important. So remember, unboxing isn't just about pretty packaging. Test function first, and the beauty will follow. Before I bought this and anything, that's why I said that my podcast is called, this segment of the podcast is called Unboxing Solutions with Me. I am not just buying for the sake of buying. I'm not just buying just because I want to share stuff with you. I vlog because I buy. I don't buy to vlog. Do you understand? So if it's not something that's functional for me, if it's not something that I'm actually going to use, I ain't buying it. This is an investment. So I bought this drill because I really need it at home when I need to fix something. For example, I bought a bench the other day. I don't remember if I shared it on here, but it got broken, right? And I did not have the tools to put it together, back together myself. So that was one of the reasons I went and did. And before I bought this, I did my research. I checked to see which one I'm going to get. Then I checked the reviews to see what other persons said about it and things like that. I went through the whole thing before I selected one. Now, I haven't tried this yet because as you saw me just now, I just opened it. I just unboxed it with you right here. So I haven't tested it yet. But from the reviews, it should be good. And if it's not good, I will not list it on my Amazon shop where I list all the things that I purchase, and it's in the description. So if you want to see, if you like this and like to get one of it, you can check there. If it doesn't work, I don't list it. I remove it from the list, right? So that's how you know what I have that actually worked. If you go to my Amazon link, and it's right there on the screen, that's amazon.com/shop/UME radio. When you go there, you see the things that I've listed there from the episodes of the show. And I will only list the things that actually work. The things that don't work, I do not list them. I'll still unbox them, but I will once I've used it and it doesn't work, I don't list it. All right. So I just want to say thank you so much for staying with me. Now let's go to our next segment.
Want to turn ideas into income? Say less. It's Free Money Wednesdays. Every week, we drop the hottest funding alerts, grants, scholarships, startup catch, and hidden gems. Tune in with the Free Money crew as we break down how to apply, win, and level up. From the blog to the tube, we've got you covered. Visit mycoachministry.com/blog or subscribe on YouTube at mycoachministry for the latest drops.
Thank you so much for staying with me so far. We're now in our Free Money Wednesdays segment. I'm Coach Raquel, and we are going to get into it. All right. We're looking today at policy equals profit. So, entrepreneurs, let's look at number 3. Last week, we talked about the top 10 grant funding checklist, right? Which is now currently on the website. You should check it out. But today, we're looking at number 3. Number 3 on the top 10 grant funding checklist, crystal clear objective. We're going to be looking at that. Can you define exactly what you need the funding for? Is the purpose tied to growth, innovation, or community impact? Can you pitch it in one sentence? Because if your idea is fuzzy, your application will be dead on arrival. So that's what we're focusing on. Number 3, right? Now, the viral spark. This is what happened, and this is what inspired today's episode. Now, you've been seeing the story, but I think most persons haven't. If you haven't, man, you must have been under a rock. So in Jamaica, right, there's a story about a Jamaican high school banning edges. That's what the reports say. Parents have become outraged. A lot of people online have become outraged. Parents, it literally went wild in the media. All right, it's on international news. Tasha K talked about it. Queen Amadaya Shakur talked about it. I believe, yes, I think she did. I hope I'm recalling correctly. But I mean, a lot of the top bloggers spoke about it. All right, it went wild. Here's a real business lesson. If a school is charging tuition, are the students and parents customers? And if they're customers, should they be treated with the same respect and clarity as someone paying their light bill or ordering at a restaurant? The confusion came because the policy wasn't clear. Was it about discipline? Was it about image? Or was it about control? That lack of clarity created conflict, and conflict always costs money. Now, let's say we hear this on the news, so we don't know if it's a case where the actual students weren't clear on the clarity of the policy, but the fact that a social media post went out on the issue, and allegedly it went out on the issue because what the school said is because allegedly the school claims that it was the student body that posted that made that post, and then it went viral. So I'm saying if policy was clear, then we wouldn't have to get here, right? So the confusion came because the policy wasn't crystal clear. Was it about discipline? Was it about image? Or was it about control? The lack of clarity created conflict, and the conflict always costs money. And even if it is not in this case, this message is still important because as entrepreneurs, we need to know what makes us vulnerable, right? So the calm breakdown, funding and income. Let's bring it back to funding, whether it's a grant funder, a paying customer, or a donor or investor, right? They all want the same thing: clarity. When your objectives are vague, your policies inconsistent, or your customer experience confusion, confusion, you don't just lose trust, you lose money. Grant funders will pass on your applications, customers will walk to your competitor, and donors will give somewhere else. Now, let's say, because one of the challenges I think that we might be facing, we face sometimes, right, is that there's some environments wherein customers are treated different, where the authority is not the customer. The organization sees themselves more of an authority rather than a service provider. And I think school is one of those places where we blur the lines, and I think sometimes we forget that students and parents are customers. How do we treat our customers? But we're going to continue. So the bottom line impact. Here's the financial truth. PwC says 32% of customers leave a brand after just one bad experience. The nonprofit Times shows funders increasingly look for measurable clarity. What exactly will this money accomplish? So whether you're applying for a 10,000, and I'll just show it to you where the statistic, the bottom line, right? That's not where we are. Right. So whether you're applying for a $10,000 grant or asking a client for a $100 payment, if your objective isn't sharp and your policies aren't clear, your bottom line takes the hit. All right. And this is what I want to say as well. I'm Jamaican and I've been here for a while. I remember when we had a telecommunications company called Cable and Wireless, and this is no disrespect to Cable and Wireless because we respect everyone we speak about here, but it was a very good lesson to be learned. I remember feeling when Cable and Wireless ruled, as a customer, I felt I had no power. I had no choice, and I felt exploited as a customer. And I remember when we had a new one that came in, we rushed through the door to get to that other one. Why am I recalling this? You see, oftentimes we're in environments where as customers we're taken for granted, and it's because we may not have enough competition yet or whatever. I do believe that even school or civil organizations, governmental organizations, private organizations who sometimes become laxed because they are in demand or because they feel they're secure, because we force people to, for example, go to school when they may not want to go to school. We should become aware that more and more options, especially with the internet, more and more options are being presented for persons to study abroad, study online, to do other things. So it is important that we treat our customers with respect, whether or not they're a student. And why am I saying this in this conversation? To be honest with you, I don't know why a school will be talking about somebody's edges. What is a policy exactly that falls under? And shouldn't it be that shouldn't this be something that the PTA handles? Shouldn't this be something that the PTA talks with their parents about? The focus should be on their education, no? All right, let's keep going. So we want to talk about the entrepreneur fix, right? I'm just saying this to say there are lessons here for us to learn based on our own business as entrepreneurs. If you have one customer, treat them with respect. Make sure you enforce your policy. And if you have 1 million customers, that policy should apply to them all in the same way, right? And so that's why even when you're a young entrepreneur growing and you may only have 1 or 2 clients or whatever, you should already have systems in place. And I always say this, nobody cares when you're not making a lot of money, but the minute you do, everybody cares. And that's why you have to operate even with one person as though you are running your full team at full force. You have to operate as though you have all the customers that you desire right now. You don't wait. Right now, with your one client, your one customer, you should operate as though you're at full force. Yes? Now, the entrepreneur fix, as you can see on the screen, here's how to tie policy and funding together. Write objectives like cash flow depends on them. Write your objectives like your cash flow depends on them, because it does. Be clear with funders and customers alike. Clarity builds confidence. Confidence unlocks money. For example, in the cases of schools, there's some schools that apply for funding. You want to make sure that the same thing you're telling your funders is the same thing you're telling your students, because they are the customers. The conversation should be the same. You should be clear with funders and customers alike. Clarity builds confidence. Confidence unlocks money. Enforce consistently. Don't say one thing in your grant application and live another in your business. Whatever you put in the grant, that's what should really be happening in your business. Now, number 4, align policy with growth. Every policy should show how you're protecting the mission, the product, and the money. Number 5 and last, respect the payer. Respect your payer. I know there's some of us who we have so much money, or we have so many businesses that we feel we don't have to care about the customer. I can tell you, I experienced that as a tenant, as someone who's renting real estate. I experienced that as someone sometimes with delivery services. I experienced that in quite many areas. And every time I get an opportunity where I no longer have to do it, I run for it. And don't get me wrong, because I also weigh, because everywhere you go, there's going to be an issue. So I always sit with myself and do an assessment, because I don't stay anywhere I'm suffering for any reason. Not a home, not a school. If I stay, it's because I feel there's benefits here. I don't just stay. I have to be getting value for my money, or I'm not staying. So when I talk about the challenges sometimes that you face in customer service, you should know when poor services have gotten to its peak, has gotten to the peak where, you should know when customer service, when poor customer service has gotten to its peak, to the point where you can no longer tolerate it, right? So, but be clear on why you make the changes you do. but just remember that your customers will be impacted by how you treat them, and that will affect your money, your bottom line. Right now, the lesson: a crystal clear objective isn't just for grant funding, it's the backbone of every income stream. When your policies are fuzzy, when your pitch is fuzzy, when your objectives are fuzzy, you lose dollars. But when you show up with clarity, you secure the bag, you protect your profits, and you build trust that lasts. So this Free Money Wednesday, remember, policy equal profit, clarity equals cash flow. Let's say that again. All right. So policy equal profit and clarity equals cash flow. Now go and sharpen those objectives. So let me just share a personal experience for me. I face this all the time. Clients will message me. So for example, this is just me sharing a story with you with something I face as an entrepreneur and making sure I'm on top of those policies, right? One of the things that I used to have to reinforce a lot was my work time, my work hours, right? I am someone who loves to support. I love to support people. It's my pleasure to support them. But one of the things I've learned is you can't support everyone the same way. You have to treat each customer as an independent customer, and you have to treat them kind of uniquely, even though it's under the same general banner, right? So for example, I have some clients that I can never go the extra mile for. I have to keep it by the book, because one slip from policy and advantage and miscommunication, it's going to become an issue, right? While there's some clients who understand, and they'll understand that, you know what, I'm contacting you after work hours. I understand that I'm doing this with you. So I understand that if you do it for me today, I should not expect it tomorrow, right? So because you do have times when you may go overboard a little bit for someone, but even then it should still be within some kind of context and some kind of policy. So for example, with me, one of the things I found that I really had to pay attention to was timelines, right? When, let's say, so the one I have here is where clients will message me like at 11 p.m. or Sunday mornings, expecting an immediate response, as if my fingers were glued to the keyboard 24/7. If I break my own rules and respond, I've just trained them to expect unlimited access. And when I can't keep that up, they feel disappointed. They may even walk away. That's not just stress. That's lost income, because disappointed customers don't return and they don't refer. So for me personally, I have a practice where I say 24 to 72 hours. And I let them know that 24 hours is for like priority clients, and I'm very clear about it. So this is it for me, right? I may see something coming for a client and I may be tempted to respond. I do not. What I do is I might write an email to respond, but I schedule that email. I do not respond, because I do not, first of all, I don't want one customer to think another customer is being treated with given preferential treatment, and they're not. And two, I don't want to breach my policies, and I have to be careful. If I were to breach, who am I doing it with, and what is the context under which I'm doing it, and what's the communication around it, right? So you have to make sure that you remember that policy is very important, how you operate, and you may have to remind your clients from time to time, this is what a thing is, right? I remember it was last Monday or something. Yes, I think it was last Monday. I had a client who they missed their deadline on when to send something, right? And of course, over the weekend, nobody's working. So the program was set for the Monday. Now, I do understand that, because what I do is I understand that people may be late with certain things. So I always have like 30 minutes time span where I get to interact with the client before we get to the project, right? So I wasn't worried, because I know, okay, we just know that on that day we have to move quickly because we have a limited time and we have to get everything in, and it's okay. But when I woke up to a lot of messages, oh, hello, are you there, right? And so on that morning I had to remind that client, nobody's at work on the weekend. Just a reminder, we're not at work on the weekend, right? And just a reminder, you are the one who's late in your submission, because guess what happened also with policy? There are times when you have to remind clients about your policy because they'll flip it on you. Because humans are human beings, right? We're humans. So persons will come at you as though you missed something when you didn't. They are late. They're late. You know you have a deadline. So you can't say you've been trying to reach me and you can't reach me. Why would you be trying to reach me on a weekend? I don't work on weekends. That's in my policy. That's in my communication. That's all over my website, right? And it was communicated to you directly because we know the product we're working on. So that's one. You were not trying to reach me and not getting to me. You were messaging me on my off hours. That's what let's clarify the communication so we can both be in fairness, right? Also, number two, 24 to 72 hours. 24 to 72 hours is my response time. And in this case, this was not a priority client. So we're not late. And you have to reinforce that, and you have to remind the client that, remember, we did say this, we're not in breach. And then the third, whatever is to be done, there is a section, there's a time slated to handle all pre-production. So your project will never suffer. So in that, you notice that I'm also letting the client know that we are also working in your favor. It's not just about sticking to my policy, but my policy includes your best interest. So you're not going to lose. So we understand your anxiety, but you don't have to be anxious at all. So you want to make sure the client also don't just feel like the policy is against them, but that they understand that no, it's not against you, but just be mindful. But also we made sure that the policies we have in place is also favorable to you. It's also favorable to you. And my client was quite fine. She was happy and she apologized and she was, oh my gosh, thank you so much for supporting me. I'm happy for your show, because we had everything done and it was professional and she lost nothing and she understood the truth, because the truth was you were messaging us on an off hour, right? And even if I saw it and I felt like responding, I would not have, because I don't want to miscommunicate our policies to the client, right? So just remember that. And now I want to go on to, all right, well, the tip for today, schools often forget that parents are paying customers. Imagine if JPS or NWC or whatever electric company or utility companies you currently have agreements with said, we'll take your light bill, but we don't like your hairstyle. Absurd, right? Yet many businesses do the same, taking money while imposing authority that doesn't fit a school model. Entrepreneurs, that mismatch costs income. The bottom line is this: if you charge like a service, treat them like a customer. If you enforce like an authority, be clear upfront. Misalignment leaks money. The real lesson: policy equals profit. Every unclear rule is a leak in your pocket. Every enforced boundary is a safeguard to your bottom line. This week, don't just chase money. Protect the money already flowing by tightening up your policies. That's how you win the business. That's how you win in business. That's how you scale calmly, and that's how you keep Free Money Wednesday working in your favor. So I think this conversation is very, very important. And I really think a lot of organizations out there need to really, really revise how they treat their customers who they see themselves as authority over. Yes. And I think also there should be some, I don't know what I would say, but there should be some thought and consideration, especially to customers who are forced into certain services. For example, I think school is something that's imposed upon us. It's mandatory for students to go to school up to a certain age, right? You have to send your kids to school. When you have this kind of system, I think policies should be written with the customers in mind and their best interest. Do I agree with young girls focusing on edges and all of that? No, I don't. But do I think they deserve respect and autonomy over their own bodies. Yes, I do. And I think if someone is going to correct them about how they about their parents, it should be their parents, not the school. The school should have nothing to do with this. And to any extent that the school get involved, it should be through the PTA, Parent Teachers Association, where the teachers communicate that to their parents based on their policies. Because to be honest with you, is that relevant? Who cares? Teach them, educate them. That's the job. Educate them. That's the job. Thank you so much for staying with me so far. I'm Coach Raquel.
From Hollywood to your hood, public breakdowns are everywhere. But what if we turn gossip into growth? On Allegedly, we react to the wildest viral stories, celeb spiraling, influencers breaking down, and infamous moments you can't unsee. But we don't just watch, we work. We break it down, do the self-work, and find the breakthrough hiding in their mistakes. New episodes drop every Monday on YouTube at My Coach Ministry, because your healing might just begin with someone else's headline. Allegedly, where the breakdown is the beginning of your breakthrough.
Thank you so much for staying with me so far. I'm Coach Raquel, and this is our Allegedly segment, and we're just going to go right into it, of course. Let me just be just a reminder. We're thankful for every single person that we mentioned in today's episode. We thank you for your story and your breakdown that inspires us and motivates us to do our own self-work so that we can achieve breakthrough. All right? Absolutely. And so before I get into the story, let's just go straight to copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Today we have an interesting topic that we're going to be talking about, and I just want to read something, share something with you before I get into it. It is my hope that as we go through this segment that we understand that this is not about judgment, okay? We're not seeking to belittle, demean, ostracize, marginalize, exercise, or be hateful. That's not what we're about, all right? We want to talk about what is real, what is true, what is happening in our world and in our communities. And we want to discuss it, talk about it, share the information so we can all be in awareness and so that we can be triggered, hopefully, to do some self-work so that we can all experience breakthrough. Because when we experience breakthroughs, then our communities will experience breakthroughs. All right. So collective, let's step into Allegedly, where headlines meet hard truths. Now, reportedly, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Before his passing, he said, "With strong families comes smaller government and a better country. Put dads back into families," right? Now, politics aside, let's ask, is there truth in that? Let's look at the numbers, not just in America, but across the world where we live, love, and raise children. That's right. That's right. So, the US and Western world. In the US, 1 in 4 children live without a father in the home, without a father at home. That's what the research says. That's nearly 18.4 million kids. Among Black families, over 60% of children are in single-parent households, usually led by mothers. And I'm going to show you that data as well, right? So let me go back to here. So what I just said, in the US, 1 in 4 children live without a father at home. That's nearly 18.4 million kids. Among Black families, over 60% of children are in single parent households, usually led by mothers. Right. And this isn't just America's story. In the UK, the rate of children in single parent households is around 21%, one of the highest in Europe. Canada and other Western nations echo similar patterns. Uh, Family breakdown and absent fathers are becoming common, with ripple effects on schools, income, and mental health. The Caribbean. Let's look at what it looks like for the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, father absence has almost become normalized. Studies in Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados show that between 40 to 50% of children grow up without their biological fathers in the home. In Jamaica specifically, a 2022 UNICEF report noted that the majority of households are mother headed and too many fathers remain financially or emotionally absent. This absence impacts everything from childhood development to cycle of poverty and even national economics. Now let's go over to Africa. And then there's Africa. Across the continent, the story is complex. In South Africa, research shows that over 60% of children live without their biological father. In countries like Nigeria, the numbers are lower but rising, especially in urban centers. War, migration, and economic pressures often mean fathers are physically distant, even if still alive. The truth is, whether through choice, circumstance, or systemic barriers, fatherlessness is not just a statistic. It's a wound on the family unit, and it stretches from Harlem to Kingston, from Lagos to Johannesburg. And I want to share, right now. So the question is, so the question isn't just what did Charlie Kirk mean? The deeper question is, what are we doing to restore the presence, power, and purpose of fathers worldwide? Strong families raise strong nations. Moms have carried the weight for generations, but the absence of fathers is costing us in poverty rates, in violence, in education gaps, in broken cycles that keep repeating. For Black dads in America, the Caribbean, Africa, this is not a call out. This is a call in. Your presence matters. Your absence is expensive. Your presence matters and your absence is expensive. Now I'm going to share a video and continue the conversation. Now listen, let me be very, very clear. I was raised with my father for the most part. He was the most consistent parent in my life. I really did not. I know who my mother was, but I don't really know my mother. Like I don't know her characteristics. I don't know. I when I say no, to know someone, I'm talking about having invested time, spent time with them to learn their idiosyncrasies and stuff like that. So when I say I don't know my mother, I'm not saying I don't know of her or who she was. I know who she was, but I was not raised by her. And for most of my life, I was denied by her, right? I was a kid that she would say she'd go to the back so nobody can see you. There was a thing that my mother went through where it's almost as though she didn't want people to know how many children she had. And that's her prerogative, right? I don't know why she did it, for whatever reason. I don't think it was, I know it wasn't hate or whatever. She was going through what she was going through and she was doing her best. And I'm okay with that. She's not what I'm hoping to talk about. The reason I said that is because I'm saying, so most of my time, since she had me go to be with my father, most of my time was spent with my father. And in a way, I feel that's why I have such a strong mind, because my father was not there was no intimacy in my growing up, in that I grew up without hugs. I was a child that grew up without hugs, right? So I didn't really get that. But what I got was a sense of self that I cannot explain. And I know it's because of my dad, because my father, it was important. He taught me how to think. And the way he taught me was not it was what people would consider rough. But it wasn't to me, but it was more sensible. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't I fell down and my knee got scratched, so he run and he's no, it's like, get up. What do you mean get up? Rise. Like my father instilled in me a sense of independence and self, and confidence, a self-confidence, a self-esteem, like self-esteem issues I don't have. Like I'm not even thinking about those things. My mind is more on being authentic, being the real version of myself. I know there's nothing I cannot do. He raised me with such confidence, such um, authenticity, such and I felt I know my daddy loved me. You know what I mean? He let me say this. I'm not saying he was the perfect parent. I'm saying he gave me all he had. And I'm trying to say there was a difference in being raised by a man. There's just a difference. I'm not even quite sure what the difference is, but there's a certain degree of sense of self that I have, that self-reliance that I have, that I know that I have that because of my father. I know it's because of his influence why I have it. And I'm saying that to say when kids are, I don't know if I should say especially girls, when kids are raised without their fathers, I think they become vulnerable to emotional weakness, or I don't know if that's what that's not even they become vulnerable to lack of emotional intelligence, because I feel sometimes like mothers are so protective. They are so, well, I don't, maybe I'm talking about mothers I've seen, not my own mother, because I didn't get that influence. I didn't my mother had no influence on me in the sense of having parented me, because she never did. But from what I've seen, there's something different that dads do that you have to see it to understand it. They just approach things in a different way. And for me, I feel like it was in a way that made me know you're capable. I'm not coming to save you like that, but I've got you. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not coming to save you, but you know I'm here. You know I'm here. So get up, do what you need to do. Think back. What do you mean so and so told you to do that? So what did you think about it, Raquel? What are you going to do? What are your choices? You can't come tell me. I remember one day I was saying to my father, like I was in a fight or whatever. And my father is just like, so what did you do wrong? I'm here telling him what everybody else did wrong. And he's only interested in, so what did you do wrong? I need you to remember that what's the most important is what you do, your choices. You choose your involvement in whatever. So there's a sense of self that he instilled in me that gives me this confidence. I can be in a space, even in my relationships with men, right? My father never really taught me how to interact with men, right? But what he taught me about myself is like, even if I'm in a thing with a guy, right, and I'm unclear, I still have something inside of me like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. So I'll leave before certain abuse begin, because there is a sense of autonomy that I have, right? And that's because of my father. That's where that comes from. So I'm saying all of this to say, this is not to slight men. This is not to harm men. It's because, as it says, right, your absence is expensive and your presence is too important for you not to be around. And I feel like as a society we become too comfortable with it. And so I have a video that that I'd like to share. And what I'm showing on there with you, sharing with you right now above there is the statistics for single parenting in the US, Jamaica, and global. And then you have children's living arrangements by race in the US. So you have the black. Hang on a second. Right. You have the rate for the black, which is, it's almost 50%, as you can see. And then you have, if you look at Jamaica, it's almost 50%. It's so funny because the rate in Jamaica and the rate of children's living arrangements in Jamaica and the rate of the black overall in the US is pretty much the same. It's almost the same thing. Very, very close to the 50%. And the data that I just read to you said 60%. I got this data after I got that one, but all the resources are there, right, to show that it's a problem. And who cannot see that this is a problem contributes to the problem, in my opinion. Right? Okay, so let's go to the video now. No judgments, just mindfulness.
Women are not being provided for, taken care of, and you're not building family. How many more women he's going to sleep with? It's crazy because he said this is a powerful man of God. How come that man of God didn't have impact in Tyrese's life? These are the type of things you got to act.
All right, I'm so sorry. Let's begin again because I forgot to put their YouTube channels there. So this is Ringo Reaction TV, and you can find him on YouTube as Ringo TV Reactions. Ringo TV Reactions. That's 2 words. Ringo TV Reactions. Okay, he's on YouTube. Somebody I follow, somebody I listen to every now and again. All right, so we're going to go from the top again, and as usual, I thank everyone who participated in this story. We value experience, and we value the value we get from having these conversations around your story, because it inspires us to do our self-work so we can experience breakthrough. So we just want to say thank you. And he's going to be speaking about the Tyreek thing, but I want you to look at the statistics, right? Or maybe I should do this after. Let's do this after. Let's go.
Women are not being provided for, taken care of, and you're not building family. How many more women he's going to sleep with? It's crazy because he said this is a powerful man of God. How come that man of God didn't have impact in Tyrese's life? These are the type of things you got to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen. If you slept with 1,000 women, that doesn't make you more of a man. The issue here is any man that is sleeping around with a bunch of women, and these women are not in your lives. These women are not being provided for, taken care of, and you're not building family or legacy, then you are known as a whoremonger male. That's nothing to be proud of.
You either a sex addict and you out here just trying to put your wee-wee in everything and you just losing your damn mind, or it's coming from something. You can't be triggered by triggers that don't exist, right? So what's triggering your sexual appetite?
What's triggering our sexual appetite as men is that we were designed by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to mate with women. We were designed to procreate, to build family and legacy. The problem today as men is that we're not focusing on God's plan. Instead, we have become whoremonger males who just want to sleep around and leave a trail of bodies and broken women. And this is why we have so many single mothers in the world, because most men are not responsible for what they do with women.
Do you think having all those kids was a response to your trauma?
Yeah, 100. Now I'm learning that now. Yeah, and it wasn't like I was acting out. It was more of being careless, being frivolous with my process, because I could do it, because I had the money, because I had the access to whoever and however I wanted to move. And, you know, okay, they coming at me, they asking me, opposed to like doing a mature thing and saying, hey, well, it probably makes more sense to do this. And then obviously life happens as well. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go have 12 kids. It was more about like, yo, I'm gonna just live life and have fun, and whatever happens, I can handle it. When it probably, you know, being almost 45 now, I can sit back and be like, yeah, if I would have thought the process through a little bit more and took time.
So listen, I'm never going to knock anybody for reaching an epiphany whenever they reach an epiphany, right? Life is a journey. And I'm glad that Nick finally did realize it. In my lifetime, I have witnessed and I have admittedly participated in behaviors that derive from having some level of a God complex. I can be very honest. I can be very honest. I'm not going to get into detail in my personal life, but there is this thing and I can't speak for other cultures of men because I'm not closely affiliated, but there's this thing I notice with some Black men that when we come into something, when we come into money, when we come into power, that we take on this, I can do anything I want because I can. And we don't have the time to dig all the way into it, but I think a lot of it comes from the world sending us symbols that, or signals that we ain't shit, we ain't nobody, we lower than, we less than. So when we get a little something and we become a little something, we want to prove things to ourselves, to our community, to the greater world. And we just run around just doing things that we're not supposed to do, like he said, just because I can. And I will admit to you, being somebody who's participated in some of those behaviors on one level or another, it does feel good. It does make you beat your chest. It does make you feel like you got the biggest dick in the room. It does. And you know, I had to look at myself one day and I had to say, when is enough enough? Like, when is enough enough? Who are you trying to prove this to? And when is your cup going to be full enough for you to move on from this behavior? You know, when we start talking about everything that's going on with Diddy, I think that there's a certain psychological component in what Diddy was doing that was rooted in this drunk in power. I'm doing all of this because I can. And I will tell you guys from personal experience, those behaviors, whatever they may be for every different man, they are very addictive because they feed a wounded part of you. They feed that part of you that always felt less than, that always felt like nothing. And it's like, yeah, now I get to cure this part of me. And oh my God, it feels good. I want more. I want more. I want more.
What if I told you that 80?
So I just want to credit that was Funky Dineva, and he's also on YouTube as Funky Dineva, so you can check that out. I want to thank. Wow, isn't this interesting? This is, I don't know, like, it is my hope that the good men, when they see this, and I don't even want to talk too much in between because I want it to just play so we can see it, you know. So I'm just going to continue because I want us to watch it and see it, because I think there's a certain amount of awareness that I don't know if our men just choose to ignore or pretend like they're not aware, you know, because there's some people who come at me like, you know, like that's not true. Or even when we have the questions of, do Black men like Black women, like persons are quick to say that's not true, whatever the case may be. But I hope seeing it this way helps. So let's I'm just going to play it to the end and I won't say anything else.
It feels good. I want more. I want more. I want more.
What if I told you that 80 million men here in the U.S. are subscribed to OnlyFans? 80 million men here in the U.S. are subscribed to OnlyFans, but the population of men here in the U.S. is 165 million. So that means roughly half of the male population subscribe to OnlyFans. But what if I also told you that the women that put out content on OnlyFans here in the U.S. is only 1.4 million women? So you mean to tell me we have 80 million men here in the U.S. subscribed to OnlyFans to 1.4 million women? I don't like to make comparisons. I don't like to do that at all. But if I had to, Jesus, if I had to, who sounds like they need help a little bit more? Who sounds like they need therapy? Who sounds like they need life coaches? Who sounds like they need mentors? Most importantly, who sounds like they need Jesus? God, dog. What if I told you out of those 80 million men subscribed to the 1.4 million women, we got husbands, we got fathers, we got doctors, we got lawyers, we got grandfathers. We got men in high up positions. We got police officers. We got politicians subscribed to 1.4 million women. And this make my head hurt, because when I mention these type of things and when I talk about these type of things, I'm simping, I'm pandering, of stating facts, of pointing out the deceptive, lustful, perverted behaviors in men.
Oh, my dad raped my mother at 11 when he was 26. She was special needs. I'm thinking to myself, you know, I look just like this man. I act like him. I'm built in my physical and the way that I own a room. It's just like him. You know, so I thought, what else do I have? Now, when is that coming? And when is it going to? It's not, because I'm also a man who makes decisions based on what I want to be on this earth.
The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? Yes. That is the number one priority. We don't have to overthink it. Every number gets better for every community if dads are around. Every number gets worse when dads are not around. Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know, it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. And you know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so right, you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. And so I'm glad to hear about the Fatherhood initiative. And if I may speak to the men out there, you are a coward and a petulant child if you impregnate a woman and abandon her. You have a moral obligation to stay with the women of your choosing, hopefully in the confines of marriage. This idea that men can just abandon women and, you know, leave the consequences without any responsibility has been a catastrophe for our country. We are talking about how men need to be men again, in the home, take responsibility, provide for your family, and with strong families comes smaller government and a better country.
Wow, powerful, right? And we have to get to a place where we can at the very least speak the truth about something. You see, calling a thing is, it's not anything to be ashamed of. It's not anything to be to berate someone over. That's not the goal here. The goal is creating awareness. Like, we've got to see the statistics, right? We have to see what's happening and be able to decide that our kids, it's the kids, these kids deserve better. These kids deserve better. And as far as I'm concerned, getting a woman pregnant and leaving her should be a crime. It should be a crime, because I think it's one of the worst crimes in the world. I think single motherhood is violent. I think if any parent should be the single parent, it should be a father, because the hero needs to be in the home. I believe that if more dads were home, that superhero would be in the home. And I believe that politicians and celebrities would not have the kind of clout they have now if dads were in the home and having impact in the home. And I think for me, one of the greatest challenges I have is I don't understand how we have quote unquote good men and we're not hearing them shouting from the mountaintops to change this. I mean, we need mentorship for men. We need single men gathering men and pulling them together and creating programs to support them and calling them to a higher purpose. Like, if you're a good man, what are you doing about this? What are you doing about it? Who is holding men accountable? Who is wrangling them up together and say, come, you're a better man. You've got to be better than this. When a lot of these men were raised without a man in the house. Right? So what is single motherhood producing? And this whole concept of blaming mothers, I don't even know where that comes from. The absenteeism that happened is not her fault, right? A man makes his own choices, right? And she cannot be evaluated. We cannot evaluate a single mother on the outcome of two parents. You can't be comparing the two. A two-parent household is going to produce something different from a single-parent household. All right, so you cannot become of that of a double-parent household. You just can't do that. A single-parent household is going to produce that of a single-parent household, and a double-parent household is going to produce that of a double-parent household. We cannot be okay with this. And that's why, for me, I say stop having children. Until we figure this out, we need to stop having children, because it's just not fair to the child. It's not fair. It's not fair, you know. And I was so happy, honestly, when I found that clip. I was like, I wasn't even looking for it, but I guess, you know, the algorithm, because of what happened with him and everything, and the whole algorithm, it was there. And when I saw it, I was like, thank you, because I've been saying this, especially on my Facebook page or whatever. I've been saying it over and over and over. And I'm just happy that there's this male who put it in a way that I'm saying it. Yeah, so I'm not saying there are not other men talking about manhood or whatever, but this man spoke about it in a way that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, strong families equals smaller government. And sometimes I wonder, is that why we're okay with it? Because no, we have a bigger government with more power. We have more power. I don't know. I'm just asking because I cannot understand for the life of me why a government of any nation would not prioritize fathers being responsible. Where are the penalties? Where are the penalties for failed manhood? And where are the programs for redevelopment for those men who were raised in a single parent household headed by a woman? Which means that he never got the principles from a man that he needed for manhood. Where are those programs to redevelop the mind, or to retrain, or to educate? You know what I mean? Address the traumas and everything. Where are those programs? Why isn't it priority? But we keep talking about fertility rates. Why should we continue having children if we don't have parents to parent them properly and effectively? Why? It's unfair. I grew up without a parent, and it crippled me. I was crippled by it for the rest of my life because I never got to know my mother. I don't know what the word mom means. When I say mommy means just like a ball, it's the same thing. There's no real meaning for me there, because I never got the softness of my mother. I never got the nurturing of my mother. I didn't get all of those things. It's wrong. Some of us don't even get to know our lineage. We don't know where we come from. What kind of careless reproduction is this going on? We don't know where we're from. I'm trying to get mine done now to know where am I from. Some of us don't even know if we have the right parents, if it's the right father we're assigned to, whatever. How can we're like leaves out here. Leaves. How can this be okay? It's human beings you're bringing into the world, people who are going to have to deal with other people. And then we blame people for the brokenness. We keep blaming. One of the hardest things, man, to digest is when I hear them blaming single mothers. What did you want her to do? What did you want her to do by herself? She did the best she could. Absenteeism is also a problem. It has impact. Why don't we talk about what the effect of absenteeism? Absent parents. What about that? And when I hear men, I remember there was this post on TikTok, and I commented, and I said, "Single parenting has got to be the toughest job ever." And somebody responded. I'm assuming. Well, I'm not assuming. The post appeared to be male, right? But I can't confirm that. And the person was saying how it's not the toughest job because when you work and with heavy equipment and everything, how that is. Sir, you don't take the equipment home. What are we talking about here? Do you take the equipment home? When you're sleeping, does that equipment come and say, "Mommy, mommy, mommy"? Does the equipment do that? I have watched, well, it's not in all cases where my sisters were single parents, right? But I've watched women manage motherhood. And oh my gosh, when I remember getting dirt for my sister because she was pregnant and frying the dirt. I remember getting her young plums. I don't know if we understand enough the process of child's birth and what these women go through carrying that child inside of them. I don't know if we really understand it and appreciate and value it enough, because I'm telling you, my heart bleeds sometimes when I hear how people handle single mothers or just mothers. We need to put some respect on these people's names, and where we see they need support, lend them a hand instead of tearing them down. They're already going through a lot. And I think it's also important for a man to be in the home so he can have sex with her during that pregnancy. It's important. So he can give her intimacy, hold her hand, help her when she don't know what to do with the child, when she need a break. I have persons who I'm close to who, I'm going to say this. I have this guilt that I've been carrying. And honestly, like I sit with myself and I'm like, do I disconnect from this relationship? Or do I live with the guilt? Or the next thing is that I'm praying about it. I'm not sure, because I am close to someone who's a single mother. And the guilt I feel when I hear her stressing and I don't know what to do, because it's not like she can say, "Hey, I want you to do something," right? And I can't do anything because I'm not being asked to do anything. And it's a lot. But I'm telling you, the guilt when I listen to what she's going through, I just feel so useless. I'm just like, why am I in her life? Like, why am I here? You know, and you almost feel like you want to get up and go to create some community around that person, but you also can't do that because you don't know if that's best either. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is, we need fathers in the homes. We need fathers who, if you're going to get someone pregnant, then you must budget your time for the next 18 to 21 years, that during this time, I'm going to be a certain kind of man, a certain kind of gentleman, where I'm going to become that foundation upon which my child and that child's mother will rest their weary heads. And if you can't do that, you have no business getting anyone pregnant. There's another clip that Charlie was talking about when he spoke about the reason, in his opinion, the reason for a man wearing a black and white suit to a wedding, where it's a symbolism of, I died to myself. If you're not prepared to die to yourself, you have no business getting a woman pregnant. And don't tell me about she let you get her pregnant. I'm talking to the man. It's two people, but I'm not talking to the woman today. You're the man. Hold on. Who's the boss here? Are you the woman in the relationship? Because if you're the man in the relationship, we know men are the leaders. That's what the patriarchy says. So lead. You're leading. Whether you own it or not, you're leading. Whether you've allowed yourself to be led or not, you were leading, and you allowed yourself to be led. But you're the one organizing this meeting. You're the one here doing your thing. And if you're not prepared to block out the next 18 to 21 years to being faithful, to show up, to provide, to protect, to love, to honor, to cherish, to govern, to lead, you have no business getting anybody pregnant. So get a vasectomy if you want to go around and have a lot of sex. Because it's just wrong. I mean, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do because it's not, I mean, I have no place in your life to tell you, but as a member of society, I'm saying it on this podcast. But I don't have to say it. You don't have to listen to me. The statistics speak for themselves. If you're a man and you're okay with this, then manhood is wasted upon you, in my opinion. And you cannot tell me you're a good man and you are okay with these statistics. You can no longer pretend like you don't know. Don't tell me about good man. How many men are you holding accountable? Okay, so you're a man who doesn't have children. How many men with children do you know? And how many do you hold accountable in your circles? I'm just saying, it's a very, black men, I'm expecting to hear from you conversations like that of Charlie Kirk. And it's not that I'm comparing you to him, but the feedback I've been getting from men, they don't own it. And they behave as though it is not real, it's not happening, and they're denying it. And it's very sad that I don't hear enough black male voices advocating against this atrocity. Anyway, in closing, so as we reflect on Kirk's statement and the tragedy of his reported assassination, maybe the bigger lesson is this: if we want stronger nations, stronger schools, stronger economies, it starts at the family table. Because allegedly, the strength of a government really does rest on the strength of its families. And any government that does not want strong families is a government that wants to enslave its people. That's my position. And no family is complete if dads are missing from the picture. Any government that does not prioritize the hero being in his home with his family is a government who wants to outnumber the people so they can control and enslave them. Because I cannot imagine that anyone seeking to build a big nation does not prioritize fathers in families. How? So, in the end, it is my prayer and my hope that if there are good men out there, I'm a single woman, so I wouldn't know. If there are good men out there, I'm going to be searching to hear your voices, because this is an area that is begging for advocacy in the Black community. Black male leadership is in desperate need. We're in desperate need of Black male leadership that is visible, that is dominating, that is populated, not in secret corners. The world needs to hear your voice, Mr. Black Man. We need to hear from you. All right, and I say that with respect. No disrespect meant at all. Not at all. This is your reminder, family, protect the bond, strengthen the bond, honor the bond. Until next time, right? Anyway, before we go, one more thing I want to say. Support is intentional. Support is intentional, or should be intentional. Be intentional about supporting. And so I've learned that support works best when it's mutually beneficial and mutually agreed upon. Because here's the truth that I've learned anyway. One, those who need you can unintentionally misuse or even abuse your time and energy. Number two, unregulated charity often leads to burnout and failure. Number 3, real accountability and value require clear boundaries. Supporting entrepreneurs is a joy to me, but I've had to learn how to give without feeling exploited. Feeling exploited for a long time, people would call me randomly for advice or professional help without booking my service. It left me feeling very drained. So that's part of why I created the Calm Collective, a space where I can pour out support in ways that are structured, healthy, and life-giving, both for me and those who join. Now I don't have to say no. So now I don't have to say no. I can say how. So reminder, looking for a space to grow without burning out, join me. So if you're looking for a space to grow without burning out, join me inside the Calm Collective. Connect free in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/MCM Calm Collective. And for leaders building serious brands, apply at mycoachministry.com. Let's thrive together. All right. We love our dads. I'm a daddy's girl through and through. I can just imagine if my father got support, emotional support, training support, relational support, man, he would have done such a great job, because I saw his efforts. Dads, stick around. One word, stick around. I don't know how, but stick around, because when you do, my God, you're so valuable. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, for joining me for Refresh, Relax, Renew. It was my pleasure being here with you. Thank you so much for your support. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let me know your thoughts, all right? We don't seek to judge or to cause harm, but we definitely want to have honest conversations and share my real thoughts on things, because that's why I'm here. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure. I'm Coach Raquel. See you next time. Mwah. Bye. I love to open new packages. I will give you the latest information on top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me. I'm Coach Raquel, and it is a passion project for me. So I'm so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Raquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.
Welcome to mycoachministry.com. We're on a mission to empower 1 million purpose-driven entrepreneurs, turning calling into currency. Through strategic coaching, we guide visionary leaders, brand elevation, and creative empowerment, helping leaders break barriers and own their identity. Build impactful, wealth-generating brands that echo across generations.